All right, welcome back, Truth Seeker. The MLB regular season just concluded today, and I want to talk about the games. There were a group of games today that had some strong riddles. There were some tough calls, but I want to start here with the Seattle Mariners because I was dead wrong about the Seattle Mariners this year, but I did very well in this last series between the Mariners and Athletics because it was just oh so predictable. And it went right back to the riddle that the season began with. The first game of the year was the Mariners and the Athletics playing in Japan. It was part of the farewell for Ichiro Suzuki. Whoops. Figures a picture of fish come up talking about Seattle. Anyway, notice the Mariners finished 68-94. This was a foregone conclusion that this would happen with this possibility on the last day. We're going to go through all the games here, but I just want to show you what's up with the Seattle Mariners being 68-94. Notice Seattle, Washington. With what's considered the most pure cipher, the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, Seattle, Washington equals 68. And with the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology, Seattle, Washington equals 94. And something that's deeper and darker about these two numbers, 68 and 94, with regards to Seattle, is how they connect to the World Trade Centers. If you don't know, the firm that built the World Trade Centers, which came down September 11, 2001, that company is called Magnuson Klemenkic Associates, and they're headquartered in Seattle. They've built a lot of major structures in this nation and elsewhere. The World Trade Center construction began in 1968, not by accident, and the World Trade Centers opened on the 94th day of the year, April 4th, 1973. And remember, in 1968, 911 was made the national emergency dialing code. World Trade Center construction began. George W. Bush graduated from Yale and Skull and Bones. And I have no doubt that Magnuson Klemenkic Associates was picked because they were headquartered in Seattle, Washington, and everything about 9/11 was a perfect numerical ritual. There's something else about 68 and 94 that you need to know, and it's that the word terror equals 94 and 68. You know? Right now in the truth community, there's this viral video about how there's going to be a major attack in Seattle on November 3rd. Well, that remains to be seen. But there has been a lot of predictive programming for something bad to happen in Seattle. It's also true for a number of other locations in the world. And it is something to be mindful of. But the Mariners finishing 68 and 94. Oh, my camera froze already. Anyway, the Mariners finishing 68-94 made a ton of sense. Plus, on the other side, the Athletics finishing with 97 wins. That was a no-brainer as well, because look at this. Athletics, with the alphabetic orders, 97. Oakland Athletics is 97 with the reverse alphabetic order and rules of numerology. You see how Oakland Athletics is 277? That's the 59th prime number. Go back to the Athletics on July 27th, or heck, I'll just do it right here. Let's just go back to July 27th real quick, and let's see if the Athletics picked up their 59th win of the season on that day. Let's see. July 27th, 27/7. Let's find the A's here. Let's see if they picked up their 59th win that day. I just remember because this was just a gimme call. This is just one of those rig sports no-brainers. Wait a minute, what? Hold on. That's weird. It says 60. I don't know if something got screwed up here. They picked up their 59th win that day. I remember very specifically. Okay. We're going to ignore that. Sometimes the ESPN stats do get screwed up when you go back. They don't document right. But, that's fishy. Anyway. 277-59. There was also a death of an Oakland Athletic in the offseason. Former Athletic, he died 277 days from his birthday. We talked about that at the beginning of the year. But notice the Athletics finished on 97 wins, and they did it also against the Mariners. Let's see. 97. Mariners 97. And do you remember what the opening score of the first game of the year was? March 20th, 2019 box score. Mariners, Athletics. It was the first game of the year. March 20th is the 79th day of the year. The Mariners won 9-7, right? And then the season ends and the A's finish on 97 wins. So, anyway, that's that game, right? Brewers and Rockies. We talked about how when this series began, it was setting up perfectly for the Rockies to potentially sweep the Brewers, which they did. It seemed kind of far-fetched because the Brewers are playing for playoff positioning, but the riddle was just so tight. You see how the Brewers finished 89-73 by getting swept? Look at Colorado Rockies. And again, this is what I always tell people. For people who say, oh, I think it's dumb that there's so many ciphers. No, it's because you're dumb. And again, you need all these ciphers for the way they use the code to rig things. You see how Colorado Rockies is 73-89, like how the Brewers finish 89-73 by getting swept by the Rockies. And then look down here how the Rockies finished 43-38 at home with a final score of 4-3. Look at Colorado. Colorado is 43-38. Colorado is also the 38th state in order of statehood. You see how Colorado's 133-43? Colorado people will appreciate this. Homosexual, 133-43. You have the first homosexual governor, and not by accident, because this code is used to rig all sorts of things, from sports games to elections. The Cardinals today, they picked up their 50th home win on a 58 numerology, and they also got their 91st win of the season, winning 9-0 with 9 hits against the Cubs. Look at Chicago Cubs. 91, right? Look at Cubs alone in the most pure cipher, 9. So how fitting to get the 91st win, the 50th home win on the 50-date numerology, win 9-0 over the Cubbies. Cubs finished the season 84-78 on a Sunday. It's got that 84-78 connection like Jesuit. And remember, it was the Catholic Church that made Sunday the day that we recognize it as. Jesuits got all sorts of influence in sports. Twins and Royals. Royals finished the season with their 59th win. The starting pitcher had a chance to become 5-9 on the season. He didn't get the decision, but notice the Royals scored 5 runs on 9 hits. Guess what Kansas City Royals equals? Guess. Kansas City Royals. Whoops, I'm missing a letter here. Oh, an S. Kansas City Royals, 59. 59. You see that? Kansas City Royals is also 103. Look at how many losses they have. 103. You see that? Bam. 59 and 103. You know? Chumps out there like Derek Bros, they're like, this is dumb because there's more than one cipher. No, it's because you're dumb and you haven't taken the time to understand how the code is used. You know? Royals stay on 50 home losses on the 50-date numerology. All right, let's go on to some other games. Padres and Diamondbacks. There wasn't a lot to go off of in this game. Today does have 77-date numerology as well. The Diamondbacks stayed on 77 losses on the 77-date. The White Sox today got their 39th home win. When two teams have a number that overlaps, notice how Tigers is 39 and White Sox is 39. More often than not, if two teams have a connection to a number and that number can show up in the game, and this being the last game of a baseball series, very likely it's going to hit. You see how the score's 3-5? Not an accident. Number that shows up a lot with Chicago. Chicago's got that 35 connection. You see? A lot of people who follow my work, they sit on these gambling apps and they see scenarios that pop up because now with all the legalized gambling, there's all these situational betting. You know, say it's late in the game, the score's 3-4, it's in Chicago, a prop bet comes up, will there be another run scored? Pays 5-1. And you're like, 3-4 in Chicago, I could see a 3-5 finish here. So often it's this way. You see how the hits are 7-4? That's not an accident either. Look at Chicago White Sox, 74. From the box scores to the final scores, you know, it's scripted. The Braves and the Mets, I couldn't make a call on this game today because either team could have had a record of 48-33 away. New York equals 48-33, right? Atlanta also equals 48. So it could have gone either way. The Mets ended up being the team that picked up the 48, stayed on 33 losses. Notice the score, 6-7. That's tribute to the Braves. Braves 67. They're the ones marching on to the playoffs. Blue Jays and Rays. Now, this is the kind of game where I got the riddle wrong. I thought the Rays would pick up their 49th win today and their 97th win because those numbers show up a lot with the Blue Jays. Blue Jays equals 49, and they play in Ontario. Ontario's 97. So that's why you lose sometimes on this. I assume the Rays were going to take this one, pick up that 49th win. They're going to end up facing the Athletics, so I thought they'd have that 97 to go face the Athletics too. I'm sure there's probably some riddle there I overlooked, which does happen, but it happens. The Astros put it on the Angels. I didn't have really much of a read on this game. I guess the Angels stay, maybe I did actually in my notes. I take it back. Astros equals 38 and 43. I did write this down this morning. Astros does equal 38 and 43. So something you have to know about these base ciphers if you're new here. You see how Astros is 43 here? You might be going, where's the 38? Well, it's right here in this reduction cipher. There's a rule for S with that cipher. S is the 19th letter. 19 is the only letter in the alphabet you have to reduce 2 times to get to a single digit. 19 in numerology is 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 is 1 plus 0 is 1. So there's a rule where you can leave S as 10. And if you do that, that's where Astros is 38. So I take it back. They 38 and 43 at home. That was the thought. So many things to remember. Marlins and Phillies. The Marlins and Phillies. This was a tough call right here because the Marlins could have picked up their 106th loss, or the Phillies could have finished 45 and 36 at home. I'll show you why these ones are tough. You see how Miami's 45 and 36? That's what the Phillies did. They became 45 and 36 at home by losing. And Phillies has that 45 connection in both reduction ciphers. 45 is a big number with Major League Baseball. Major League equals 45 in what's considered the most pure cipher. 45 is the 9th triangular number. When you add 1 through 9 together, it equals 45. Baseball, the game of nines. So Phillies did finish 45 and 36. Miami picked up their 27th away win. Miami does equal 27 as well. Now, the reason it was tough, though, despite all that, is because a big number that plays with the Phillies a lot is 106. Philadelphia Phillies is 106. Had the Marlins lost today, they would have got that 106th loss. Today did have a lesser date numerology of 57. 9 plus 29 plus 19, 57. Marlins did get that 57th win. Reds and Pirates. This was another tough call here, this one. The Reds, you see how they finished 34 and 47 away by winning? Pirates equals 34 and 47. And if you're out there and trying to figure this out, thinking about it, just realize for all of this to line up day after day like it does, it means that every game has to be scripted, which they are. Why do you think they got telephones in the dugout? Think about it. Who's calling the dugout? It's Vegas. Sometimes they have to flip these games because of the way the money is. I have no doubt that the Vikings game today got flipped in the NFL because of how much money was on the Vikings. Almost all the money was on the Vikings. The Vikings had an awesome riddle to win today over the Bears. They lost. Games like that, I think it's because way too much money is on one side. So, anyway, that does happen. That's the reason some riddles don't come through. The reason this was a tough call, you might be going, well, how's that a tough call if the 34 and 47's there? You see how the Pirates finished on 69 wins? They did pick up their 93rd loss on the day, leaving 93 days left in the year, but a number that's been real consistent with the Reds all year is 70. Cincinnati Reds is 70, and had the Pirates won, notice they would have been 70 and 92, like Cincinnati Reds is 70 and 92. You see? So this is why every day we go over the games, and then some games we're like, okay, this looks like a one-way street. This game right here looks like you're playing with fire. And that's kind of how the Reds-Pirates game was. Yankees-Rangers. The Yankees stayed on 103 wins. You know what that is? That's the 27th prime number. That's the number of World Series they've won to date. 103, the 27th prime. Yankees got that 103rd win on the 27th of September. They stayed parked on it. MLB's 27. Baseball's 18 in the most pure cipher, but it's got one S in it, which means you can add plus 9, so baseball's also 27. And I mean, just look at the Gematria baseball. 54, how many outs in a game? 18, how many half innings? Think Roger Maris was 61 home runs in 1961. 61's the 18th prime number. Baseball's 162 with the reverse alphabetic order. 162 games in a season, and then another 54. And then just look at Major League Baseball. Another 162. I could get into all these numbers, but we'll save it. So the Yankees finished the season on 46 wins. You see that? 46. Rangers is 37, but if you use that rule for S, it's also 46. So you got to be aware of that rule with S. And for the record, with the reverse alphabetic order, instead of it being S, it's H. H is the 19th letter in reverse. So H can be 1 or 10. And there's a rule for that if you go to reverse and reverse single reduction. Rangers finished 78 and 84. Remember, like we said earlier, Sunday is 78 and 84. Jesuit numbers. And speaking of the Jesuits, the Yankees picked up their 103rd win on the Society of Jesus birthday. And I just want you to see this real quick. We had this one pegged, too. We thought the Yankees wouldn't get that 103rd win until September 27th, the Society of Jesus birthday. Look at New York Yankees and Society of Jesus. How close. You know, they're the exact same in 2 of the 4 ciphers, and this one is just a swapping of the letters. So, anyway. Jesuits, they got mad influence in sports. The Dodgers, I was watching to see if they might get that 57th loss today, because that's a big World Series number. They didn't, so what we're going to be doing on Patreon this week is pounding out all these scenarios for what our World Series might be this year. Giants finished on 77 wins on the 77 date numerology. Was I earlier today talking about how the Nationals were going for that 50th win on the 50 date numerology and talking about how Washington Nationals equals 82? Look at the final score. They won 8-2 again. 8-2 again, twice in the same series. Washington Nationals 82. Washington's 50. They got that 50th home win on the 50 date numerology. Yesterday on the 49 date numerology, they got the 49th win. On the 48 date numerology the day before, they had that Geronimo ritual, which we talked about. Did that in the last video. It's on my new channel as well. But they got the 48th win on the 48 date over Cleveland. Geronimo died on the 48th day of the year. He died a span of 223 days, or the anniversary of his death from the day that Washington picked up the 48th win. 223 is the 48th prime. You have no idea how deep a lot of these riddles are. And I'm sure every single day there's super depth to a lot of these riddles that I overlook. The Red Sox did the 84-78 thing today. Let me see if their pitcher got that 20th win of the season. No, he didn't. Starting pitcher had a chance at the 20th win. Boston Red Sox is 71, the 20th prime. But I thought before this series began that the Red Sox would finish the series 85-78 and 39-42 at home. And here's why I thought that. Check this out. Boston's 85-77. Red Sox is 85-77. See, they could have finished 85-77 had they won one more game in the series, and they would have been 39-42 at home. These numbers hit all the time with Boston and the Orioles. So, you know, I get surprised sometimes. I'm like, really? They're not going to finish 85-77, huh? With that opportunity? So, and look at the Orioles record, 54-108. Those are some special numbers there. Baseball's 54, Major League's 108, 108 double stitches. MLB's got the 54 connection. So, anyway, there it is. There it is. And while we're at it, let's just flip over to the NFL. Just review those games again real quick today. A lot of strong riddles came through. Again, earlier, like we talked about, Vrabel became 11-9 as a coach today. 11-9, 119. Falcons equals 119. Josh Allen fell to 5-3 at home today. Patriots equals 53. 53 is the 16th prime. You get 16 points, just like how there were 16 points in Super Bowl 53. The Chiefs become 3-0 away. Lions equals 30. The Lions became 2-1-1 for the season. Andy Reid got his 211th win all time. Think about it. Think about it, how scripted it has to be to make that happen. That is a serious tribute right there. The Raiders became 5-2 versus the Colts today in Indianapolis. Raiders equals 52. Again, that was a tough one because Brissett could have become 6-6 at home with a win, and Colts is 66. But that Raiders 52 comes through a lot. Chargers looked golden day against the Dolphins. They became 2-2 in Miami. Miami's going to host the Super Bowl on 2-2. The Giants, the The Redskins QB, I believe, got his 33rd loss today, and the coach got his 48th loss. Again, New York's 33 and 48, just like how we talked about that same pattern with the Mets games. See how these patterns cross sports. The Browns was the call of the day. I told everybody this was the call of the week, and I let it be known 2 weeks in advance. This was happening. The Browns today on Baker Mayfield. Here, I'll just show you real quick so you don't have to take any of my word for it. Baker Mayfield birthday. April 14th, so check it out. April 14th to today, September 29th. Look at this. Today, if you include the span, which means what day of his age it is, it's his 169th day of his age, right? And again, the Ravens, they got their 169th regular season loss today. Cleveland Browns, 169, just using the alphabetic order. See how Cleveland Browns is 83? Look at Ravens. Ravens is 83. Football's 83. Jim Brown's 83. And Lamar Jackson became 8-3 in the regular season today by losing to the Cleveland Browns. Browns paid 3-1. This kind of knowledge gives you confidence to make long shot picks that you couldn't otherwise do. Panthers and Texans. Again, this one was tight. The Texans were going for their 77th win at home all-time as a franchise on a 77 date numerology. Houston equals 77. And while you might think like, God, how doesn't that happen? Notice they would have also been 3-1 on the season. The reason it didn't happen is because of this right here. Houston Texans is 195, and the Panthers stayed on 195 losses as a franchise. And the smart thing to do with riddles like that is to just stay away from them. They're just too tight. They're too close for comfort. And I got to tell you, whenever I try to make a call on a close game, I am just the worst. It's like improbably bad luck, which I've had my whole life. I have no luck. I'm good at calling games because I understand how they're rigged. I'm not a lucky person. If you give me a scenario like that, 2 close games, and I make the pick, I'm probably going to be wrong 8 out of 10 times because that's just the way the cookie crumbles for me. Now, the Bucs and Rams. This was an interesting game today. What I advise my people is I would take the Buccaneers with some picks that you like in a parlay and just bet a few bucks on it and try to turn $5 into $100 because the Buccaneers paid out 6-1 today. And I told my people it reminded me of the Eagles at Rams game last year because it was the same spread, the same crazy spread. Last year we knew the Eagles were going to win that game because the riddle was so strong. This year the Bucs had a riddle too. Here, let me pull up my notes for this game. I was doubting that the Bucs would win this game, but I saw how they could. It's because it lined up very nicely with Bruce Arians. And here, let me find it here. So in the live stream, I pointed out that Bruce Arians, he had a chance at his 51st regular season win, right? And his 52nd all-time win, and check it out. Check it out. Rams is 51, and look at Los Angeles Rams. 52. 52. So he got his 51st regular season win and his 52nd all-time, meaning he has 1 playoff win. And how many points did they score today? 54? Look at Jameis Winston. 54. Oh, shit. I'm wrong. They actually scored 55. They had 54, and then they kicked the extra point. So, okay. Now, the thing about 55 is this. They scored 54 on that touchdown pass, though. You see how Los Angeles is 37? You see how it's 37. Again, if you use those rules for S, it's 55. 55. And Jameis Winston had 41 attempts in L.A. I love it, man. I love it. L.A. 41. So you see how LA is also 13? This was my concern about this game. If the Bucs lost, they were going to be where did the game go? They would have fallen to 1-3. Instead, they became 2-2, right? They became 2-2, and Tampa Bay has that 79 connection, the 22nd prime. So just like Texans also has the 79 connection, the 22nd prime. Both teams became 2-2 out of that one. Seahawks at Cardinals. Russell Wilson got his 36th away win today. No doubt about it. I mean, freebie against the Cardinals, right? Vikings and Bears. This game kicked my ass. I'm mad about it. I am mad about it. Here's what I saw. Kirk Cousins was going for his 37th win of his career. Chicago's 37. Chicago in 37 hits all the time. And just look at it, Bears fans. Chicago, 46. Hello. How many points did you win your only Super Bowl with? Was it 46 points with the revolutionary 4-6 defense? Who did you beat? The Patriots? Patriots is 37, but it's got an S in it, right? 46. You know, who's the man with the Patriots? Tom Brady. Tom Brady, 46, drafted out of Michigan, 46. He was the 199th pick, the 46th prime. They just did that ritual against the Washington State quarterback last week, who was also the 199th pick of the draft, just like Drew Bledsoe went to Washington State, who Brady took over for. Brady had 911 passing yards on the season after the Jets game. Talk about mockery. In this Jaguars and Broncos game, I didn't make a call on it. I told people I was neutral on this game this week, and it's because the riddles went both ways. Flacco, by losing today, got his 23rd career home loss, and the Jaguars had 23 points before they kicked that winning field goal as time expired. So Flacco did pick up his 23rd career loss. I forget what the riddle was on the other side, but it was just as good. So I didn't mess with that game. I knew better than to touch that one. By the Eagles beating the Packers, it kept Matt LaFleur from surpassing Vince Lombardi. Vince Lombardi began his rookie season with the Packers 3-1. Now LaFleur did as well. That was the original question I asked. I said, are they going to let this guy pass Vince Lombardi in his first season? I mean, the Super Bowl trophy is named after him. So, that game was tight though too, so... Shout out to my friend in Arizona. He had a parlay on the Eagles winning and the Brewers winning that day. Paid some big bucks. So, anyway, I'll let you guys get back to the rigged Sunday night football game. Be sure to sign up for that Patreon. You will not regret it. I charge $5 a month for what should cost probably $500 a month. Truly, based on what sports picks go for and the fact that I do better than anyone in the industry and I teach this knowledge so that you can apply it yourself. But that's what I'm here for, to teach and help people expose this rigged system that sucks up everybody's energy literally every day of the week. So, we'll leave it there. Till next time, Truth Seeker.